Get it out. Get it out.
Sorry, something stuck in my throat. You know, just gotta crack open a cold one with the boys real fast. That was a good crack.
Thank you.
That was
my
excellent crack. The can was already open. Yeah, that was just me.
I was just doing that for effect. I was trying to hide a fart.
Awesome. All right. What's going on, guys, and welcome. My name is Chris, aka RubblePack92, and you are watching This is the Waypoint, the one and only Star Wars show right here on the Shared Screens Network on youtube.com/shared screens. Joining me today, always the guy in the chair, the Nemec to our Cassian Andor, our boy Alec Bobko.
What's up?
He's got the old Imperial tech that the Empire can't trace, baby. He got the comms. He got that was clearly just an old Polaroid with some doodads glued to it. Like he's there, man. I love when Star Wars is just regular stuff with like model kits taped to it. Like that's the best. And 3 weeks in a row, our boy AaronRoots coming and stepping in.
Call it a three-peat, everybody. Baby. The boy is back.
Back to back, because unfortunately, as we all know, please, if we could just take a moment of silence for some other Josh and for Jim Tasty, who, of course, went to Twitchcon, never to be seen again. So please, just hats off real fast. Just
I don't have a hat. I'll take off my headphones.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. He's fucking dead. We got Star Wars to talk about, so let's talk about the important stuff now. All right.
Speaking of dead,
fuck, some people died in this episode because we're talking about Andor Part 6.
Stuff went down this episode.
This
you knew it
was obviously the payoff, right, to the last two episodes of build up.
It was literally this episode was literally just called The Eye.
So, which one badass? The moment that an episode is just the anything, I'm there. That's why the Mandalorian does it for every episode, right? That's because it's cool, you know. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it's heist time, baby. We've been building this shit up for episode. Like I know we said like last two episodes, but I mean, you know, Luthen orchestrated this whole thing. The reason that all this happened is because he wanted Cassian Andor to begin with. So this is already like kind of like the apex of something that started in like the second episode of the show. You know, obviously a lot happened. There's going to be a lot to dissect, and that'll be hard to do in 30 to 45 minutes. So we're going to go around as we usually do at the beginning and give your general impressions. AaronRoots, take it away, baby.
Okay, so as I mentioned last week and the week before, Chris, when you weren't here, I've had kind of a tough time with the show. And like I said, not because it's bad or anything, just because the pace of this show is completely different than any other Star Wars project that I've seen before. And this episode made it all worth it. This is the one I was waiting for. Yeah. This was so good. It was so tense from the start to the end of the episode when you finally get that moment to exhale and be like, oh my God, they did it. And then, but you only get that for a brief moment. And then you're like,
and then right back at it again.
Now what's going to happen? So I loved it. I thought it was fantastic and beautifully done.
Hell yeah. I love to hear that. Alec, what about you, man? How'd you feel about this week's episode?
Right there with Aaron. I absolutely love this episode. Like, just visually, like they were hyping up the eye of being this spectacle that people just want to be there to see. And they did not disappoint. Like, I think I took about 3 or 4 different screenshots just from like that, any scenes with the eye. Like, coming over the dam for the first time was just literally jaw dropping. Like
was one of your screenshots when the TIE fighter pilot was getting into his ship? Because that's like the dopest shot of the episode for me.
You know what? Let's talk about it right now. Because the TIE fighter sit up was so cool.
Oh yeah, dude.
So cool. I love TIE fighters, man. And so anytime that we just get to see like more of them, of like the process of what it takes to to see the things that we see throughout all of Star Wars just kind of on a regular basis. I absolutely adore. And so yeah, seeing them kind of suspended there on the other base and them like climbing in, hitting all the doodad, twisting the knob,
Oh
and
yeah,
the buttons on the top.
Anytime I see anybody in Star Wars getting into a ship and just going and then seeing like the computers come on, it's always cool.
Yeah, that's never not awesome.
But I guess getting into some other stuff, just seeing the chemistry of all the crew just between each other, like Nemec and Andor, and then at the end, I keep forgetting Skeen or Skirn.
Skeen.
Yep. Like how that all played
bastard.
out. Like, yeah. It was great start to finish and an amazing payoff to this. Honestly, just the first half of the season. Like we still have 6 more episodes.
Yeah,
wild.
Just the halfway point. Oh man, that's
wild to think about. Obi-Wan to be done by now.
This could have easily been a season finale. Like,
yeah. You guys think they're gonna do like a 2-season finale or a 2-episode season finale?
Ooh, I would like that.
It'd be cool. I don't know if they would, but maybe.
That would be a choice. That would definitely be a choice.
TV, like network TV, does it all the time. So like I could see them doing it. If they wanted to hold off, that's totally fine.
I'm always welcome for more Star Wars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Excuse me.
So Chris, what are your thoughts?
Oh man. Look, we've been doing this for a few weeks now. Y'all know my thoughts on the show just in general coming into this. There's like everything about this show has been exactly what I've wanted it to be. Right? This is a new uncharted territory for Star Wars, and it's pulling it off in such a way that I'm eating it up, you know, and I want to inject it straight into my veins. This is everything that I wanted Rogue One to be, and I love that movie. Don't get me wrong, but it's exceeding my expectations on every count, and this episode is absolutely no exception. It is still like that sort of like action payoff after 2 episodes of character development and building and moving the plot forward to get to this huge action set piece. But it still doesn't dive away from giving us more about the characters and who they are and payoffs to their to their stories and character arcs, and sometimes in shocking ways. I love the constant feeling of desperation from the rebels, not just in this episode, but particularly in this episode, but throughout the entire show, and that really comes to a head. Like there's that moment where Vel's like, "We still have an out. Like I could just not say go. Like this is it. I say go. Well, we're all in now." That was I love that moment of hesitation.
Yeah, that was my moment where I was like, "What are you doing? Just go,
yeah,
go.
Do it." And just that sort of that almost like war movie vibe that we got from Rogue One, like during the fights, people die instantly, and they're visited again. It's gone. We don't have time. Like Gorn is shot, and that's it. We just don't see him again.
No time to mourn him or anything. It's just shot. He's dead. That's it.
Go. Yep. And then I like the episode a lot. Let's get into the details because I'm dying to talk about this episode. Right, this one's really, really good, and so I want to start with just the absolute masterclass of tension building that this episode is from the start of it, because you know what's about to happen.
Oh yeah,
because they did such a great job building up to it for so long over the last 2 weeks. That you're sitting there, you're watching some of these characters self-doubting, a couple of like getting ready, going over things again. Like Nemec's whole thing is like, I couldn't sleep. What the fuck am I gonna do? I have to be on my best today.
Yeah.
Like this is already not going well. Cassian's like, relax.
With that line, I'm like,
you'll be excited soon. Yeah, that, and then the part later when like they split up, he's like, "Don't worry, I'm right behind you." I was like, "Oh, he's gonna die." And it wasn't
the
then,
moment they start reassuring people that they're gonna be okay, they're not gonna be okay.
Exactly. Yep.
But there's this really cool like heartbeat rhythm sound in the soundtrack during the points when they're like all disguised up and walking in, and like the first time that the Donnie people pass by them and they kind of get weird looks from the other Imperials, and they're like, "Oh, thank God we made it." Okay. Like, phew, we done it. You know, we're in. And also, Rebels in Imperial uniforms, always cool. I'm just gonna put that out there. It's always rad.
Yeah.
I'll never get tired of it. But I did like that this plan is more than just let's steal some uniforms and get into the base. There's a lot more moving parts, and that helps it feel really adult, mature. That's not the word I'm looking for. Just like real.
Yeah, and that's only one part of the plan. Like you know, you have the girls like setting charges and everything like that too, doing their thing. So
And
I was sorry, go ahead.
Fast forwarding a bit, but it's kind of still along this whole thing part of the plan. But you really see how betrayed the Empire felt. Like that dude when he sees that Gorn is in cahoots with him.
Yeah,
like he just how
like,
stunned he is.
You'll hang for this. Yeah, it's great.
Like you literally see like Gorn's talking, and then you his just absolute stunned, just the look in his face. Like,
oh yeah, he's like what the fuck? Like somebody would do this?
Yeah, well,
like he's like you're one of us.
Yeah, he served under him for 7 years. That's the long con, man. Like that's a slap in the face to somebody like that.
And absolutely incredible. Also, shout out to Homie who did 1 hard day's of honest work and keeled over and died.
Yeah, he died. My man whose sash didn't fit. He's like, there's something wrong with it. I think it's contracted. I think you've expanded, brother.
Space Bobby B, get the breastplate stretcher.
We've all been there before, though.
Oh yeah,
it's happened to every one of us, man. Let me tell you what.
I will say there was a moment that I wrote down in my notes because I really liked it when Cassian and Nemec were talking, and I think Cassian said it, but he said the Empire doesn't play by the rules. They don't care enough to learn. They don't have to. And then Nemec is like, so we're just supposed to be thankful for what they give us? And then Cassian, super intense. Do I look thankful to you?
Bro, Diego Luna's
so good
performance in this episode is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Fucking incredible. Yeah, that and that whole thing too, and just again, obviously playing off of lots of like real world counterparts within the Rebel Imperial dynamic that I really love. But just Nemec as a character is really fascinating. And then you know, we see like kind of like the opposite with Skeen, to where I was thinking about like the previous 2 episodes, and there's always something that Skeen said about Nemec that stuck with me, to where it's like one of the first times that Skeen and Cassian are talking. You know, they're kind of going through the rest of the camp, and Skeen's just like, yeah, Nemec, that kid, all about the cause for him. Like, I know you're out here looking for weak points and you think he's one of them. He's the reason we're all here. And I've always loved that, because you got to have that really like gung-ho, just super good character. But it's one of those things to where it's like they were already kind of laying the foundation for Skeen's inevitable betrayal, right? Immediately that happened, and I went, shit, yeah. At first I was like, what the fuck? And then I went, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, and even at the beginning of the episode, Nemec had like his moment where he's like, I can't sleep. My faith should calm me, but it doesn't. And then Cassian's like, don't worry, the excitement will come. But
I did love the moment too. They're suited up. They're suited up, and he's like, yeah, you're right. I'm fucking awake.
Yeah, I'm wide the fuck awake right now.
It's like, God damn. And so, yeah, all of that was amazing. I love the James Bond Mission Impossible thing going on with Vel and Centra, you know, going underwater in the scuba and then jumping off the dam. And,
I literally wrote that in my notes. There's some Mission Impossible shit going on, and it was the part where they were rappelling down the side of the dam. I was like, this is
absolutely.
So cool.
My first thought was immediately GoldenEye, right? Where I was just like, hell yeah, let's go. I played this on the N64.
I was like, Vel doing the Tom Cruise run to get in the hiding spot.
I thought that dude was gonna just be like, "Hey, what are you guys doing over there?" But he didn't.
Like, just like pass by, like, what the fuck?
Like, you just see her really small running away, and he's like turned looking at something, and I was like,
"That's
dude, just turn around."
That's what I'm saying. Like, he literally just had to look to the left. Like,
So,
no,
Yeah,
all the way, just,
if he wasn't wearing headphones, he probably would have heard her running. And I'm just like, damn,
yeah.
you almost had him.
Which that was also the thing of I cannot remember the one dude's name, who was revealed is to be an ex-stormtrooper, by the way, which is really cool.
Yeah,
Cameron?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
who's straight
that's
up,
it.
who's
Tamarin or something. Tamarin.
Tamron?
Something
I
like
think
that,
that's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I feel like I should know. Who's straight up talking on comms with like the entire fucking Imperial garrison standing in front of him. I was like, bro!
Yeah, dude. It's like, hey, maybe not right now.
Do this leader. They're all looking at you. But again, yeah, it's that sort of just like excellent tension of all these moving pieces and the beginning of it, like them worrying, and they're like, why aren't they in place yet? Like, what's wrong? What do we do if they're not in place in time, right? And those sorts of things. Just that constant of like being almost off, and then just the absolutely incredible moment when they finally bring the officer and his family into the room, and guns go up, and they're like, "All right, get the fuck on the ground. We're taking over this place."
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, I was like, well, I didn't know this was part of the plan. Holy shit!
Right.
Yeah, and being
business.
biting my nails the whole time, being like, when is this gonna go wrong? Like this
Oh, yeah.
it can't be this easy. Like there's that something is going to go wrong. And they had their moments where it almost did, but you're just like, okay, what's gonna be the
one officer
catalyst
trying
here?
to whip his gun out and Vel icing him before.
She's like, yeah, nah, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, none of this. I did love the moment though of the commander of like one lying, like trying to be like, I don't control the vault. Can't do nothing. And Vel's like, one, wrong.
One,
how
we
this
know
works.
everything about it, so don't lie. Two, if you lie again, we're gonna kill your wife and your kid and you. So like, if we fail,
Yeah.
you die too.
Oh yeah, and I loved his initial just thing of being like, well, you'll kill us all anyway. And she's like, yeah, because that's what you would do, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I loved that. I was like, ooh, tell him.
Yeah. Nobody has to
Tell
die.
him. Nobody
And then
has
like
to
almost
die.
right after that is when that dude pulls the blaster and they're just like, poof!
Mhm.
Now
So
it's
good.
real.
So good. And this is one of those things where I just have to remind myself, like, oh yeah, this is directed by the guy that did the Bourne trilogy. Like, of course, these heist scenes are so awesome. Like
Yeah.
dude knows exactly how to put all these pieces together and make them work in a way. Something else that I have in my notes here was that, of course, they get down to the room that has like the boxcar freighter in it,
Mhm.
and the Imperials are playing not Sabak or Pazak. I have no idea what game that was. I really would like to know.
I thought it was Sabak for a second, but I was like, no, the cards are too small.
Cards too small, and they're putting them together like they're like space dominoes.
Yeah.
You know, it's maybe I can Google it real fast. And sorry, I'm not prepared with that information. I finished the episode and then we started recording.
Yeah.
I'm fresh off of my watch of it. I've had a long day.
That's why you're looking at that up. I was just saying that I like the payoff of what they set up a episode or two ago of Gorn setting that skeleton crew down in that base.
Mm-hmm.
Just
So good.
seeing that whole payoff of just seeing those like 6 to 8 guys there playing that game, and then it's like, oh hey, here's our loading crew.
Yeah. I thought it was this is unrelated to that, but that part where I can't remember the other girl who's with Vel. But
Sintra.
when what was her name?
Sintra.
Sintra. When Vel and Sintra are like hiding before they go over to the dam and like those Imperial guys come up.
Like under
One
the
of
rock.
them is like kind of like he's like, well, let's just say that like when I was around with her, patience wasn't at the top of my mind. So the dude was kind of like scuzzing, like maybe kind of rapey, and then he just starts peeing outside.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, is that the first time someone's gone to the bathroom in Star Wars? Which like I think it is. Like we've seen like a toilet, I think, in Mandalorian, but it's just like, weird.
Yeah, you had the blue dude in the first episode of Mandalorian talking about how I got to use the refresher.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You got the dog
And,
that
like-
peed on B2 EMO in the beginning of the Corellian Hound.
Yeah,
Right.
and then you got when Jar Jar stepped in the poop in Phantom Menace.
It's just the top quality humor right there. Really what I want out of my Star Wars movies is poop jokes. Big fan.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's the best, bro. Fucking So, moving on. While I'm thinking about the Imperial Commander, though, too, I think something that this show has done really, really well with its antagonists is write them in a way that is, one, both evil, but also, two, believable. It's like, these dudes are bad people, don't get me wrong, but they're not cartoon characters. Yeah, it's like the whole idea of the dude that leads this garrison on Aldhani, like, just views it as this backwater planet with smelly tribal people. Like, dude's clearly just like a fucking racist and wants out of here and is just trying to do his time so he can get a new assignment.
Yeah, he's trying to yeah, which I thought was Wookiee, and I'm very glad it wasn't. But
yeah,
he's just trying to, like, be as civil to them as possible until they can start building on their land. And then, like, because he was talking to that one guy, he's like, what do you think? Do you think that they'll be cool with it? And it's like, who cares? They don't have a choice. Like, we'll just do it anyway. Yeah. We're the Empire. We're dicks.
And again, I mean, you want to talk about some real world counterparts. How funny this is that that plot line comes out the same week as Indigenous Peoples Day. But
yep.
Hey, yo, Christopher Columbus, fuck you, dude. But but yeah, it's because of that, though, that this character is that's a real person. You know what I mean? I see that and I go, yeah, I believe everything about this dude immediately, in a way that's just like, haha, I'm the bad guy, evil emperor, and I shoot lightning out of my hands. Like, this is a real villain, and that's it doesn't happen often in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so I really, really like that. And it feels good when he dies, though, too. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, again, my man does physical manual labor probably the first time ever, and it kills him. And I go, haha.
Heart attack.
Ha 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 ha.
And when he had that heart attack, I was like, okay, don't throw him into a bacta tank and heal him this time. I want him to die. Like, I want him to stay dead.
Just let him go.
Also, like, when they burst into the room and they were telling everybody, they're like, drop your guns, put them on the ground. Like, I was like, you just waste these guys. Like, there's so many notes from this episode that I wrote in all caps, and I wrote, just shoot them or set the blasters to stun. I guess the blasters didn't have stun this time, which I guess they probably all can't have it, but, like, I was just like, just kill these people. There's enough people downstairs that can help you use the cool, like, Home Depot forklift things to put all the money into the ship.
Yeah, it's straight up just those those wheelie carts.
Okay. My problem with those, I understand there's a lot of credits in those things, and those are probably pretty heavy, but you can go more than 2 stacks. Come on.
Oh yeah, you can go higher than that. Those things move a lot of weight. Like, you'd be surprised. I used to work a job in a loading dock, and you'd be surprised, like, how it makes heavy things easier to move.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you can move a surprising amount of weight on them. So I mean,
like 2 more.
4 high, bro.
Yeah.
4 high, bro. I was sitting there, I was watching, I was like, my supervisor would be yelling at me if I put that little, like that tiny ass amount on my cart while I'm moving shit.
If they were effective at all, like anybody who's worked in a warehouse or anything like that, they would be stacking them to the point that HR would be pissed off and wouldn't want you doing that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just
absolutely.
like, all right, let's stack them 8 high. We're only supposed to do 4. Let's do 8.
I'm taking 2 trips.
Well, they say 80 million was what they took.
Yeah, that's what they ended up taking. Yeah.
Do 3 or 4 more rows. 300, 400 million. Easy.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. They were this close, man. They're this close. But I mean, people were dying, right?
Yeah. Shit got hairy. They had to get out of there.
So let's talk about the deaths here real fast. Where Gorn gone almost immediately, just instantly, and we don't get to see him again. And it's like, that's not an uncommon thing to happen in Star Wars, but it's because the show has done such a great job of letting us sit with these characters and empathize with them, get to know who they are and what their motivations are. Like, Gorn goes, and I'm like, oh, fuck, dude.
Yeah, and they didn't even linger on it either. Like, they didn't show a shot of him laying there or anything. Like, he was just in multiple shots after that. Yeah. But it's just like, oh, we're not focusing on him anymore.
Like, yeah, like, no, he's gone. He's gone. That's it. That's where his story ends. And then with I've already forgotten what you said his name was.
Tamaran.
Yes, the stormtrooper. But like when he when he goes down too, and Vel just kind of like lingers on and like sees it happen, like that one hurt, man, because we saw everything that he put into this, and clearly like the drive and dedication that he had on it, and I was like, damn, that sucks. And then they did my fucking boy dirty out of nowhere.
When he was in there laying the way he was, I was like, you better move. You gotta move. Stuff is gonna roll around. And the sound they used.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh,
that
was awful. I thought he was dead then.
Oh yeah.
Like I was like, oh, he's dead now, and he's like, oh no, he's like they're moving him. He's like, no, I can't feel my legs. I'm like, whoa, space wheelchair. But he didn't. Nope, didn't get it.
The med spike.
Yeah, dude, freaking Star Wars adrenaline, dude. So
absolutely,
cool.
bro.
Thought he was awake before.
He's awake.
Climb.
Yeah, it's just that sort of injury is absolutely not at all something I expected from Star Wars anything like ever. You know what I mean? I sat there, I was like, oh shit, and it hurts worse that he died not in battle, right? He didn't die fighting somebody. He didn't die in the middle of something. They were just leaving.
Yeah.
Technically it was Cassian that did it. And it's one of those things where it's just like, damn, man, that's so unfortunate. And then just shout out to the actor's performance for this. I know he's in other stuff. I recognize his face. I couldn't place him. But yeah, that point where they're wheeling him out, and he's just like, the shock, like the shock in his voice is like, I can't feel my legs. Like what's happening? What do we do? How do we go on? Like and at the same time, I mean, there's this fucking incredible, just beautiful meteor storm happening with the eye, and Cassie panicking up front. And he's like, "Where am I going?
I need numbers. You got to tell me where to go." And they're like, "Hang on, he's dying."
And then TIE fighters are coming in all at the same time, and you're seeing them like adjust the wheel, and they're like trying to look out their viewports because their stuff's all fucked.
The windshield's cracking and like all sorts of. What a thrilling escape. You know what I mean? So cool.
So visually stunning.
Yeah, and that's why I've been trying to tell people, just like watch this on the best TV, best monitor, whatever you have, because I was watching this at work, and they're okay, but they're not like the highest quality monitors. But man, I turned it on my 4K monitor here at home, and in HDR, the eye just looked awesome.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be people's like why I wouldn't be surprised if there's already stuff on like Wallpaper Engine on Steam right now. Instantly.
Speaking of that, one of my notes I put, I can't wait to see that Uzuri art piece that she does for the eye. From this episode.
Dude, Uzuri's gonna kill it. Shout out to Uzuri Art if you don't follow her on Twitter or Instagram. Fix Your Life, UZURI Art.
I can't wait until they add Aldani and the eye to Star Tours, because that's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, man, that'd be so sick. Yeah. Woo, that'd be so cool. And just that whole set piece is great, and again, something that this show has been so good at is just giving us a proper sense of scale to where like those TIE fighters hit the air, like they're jumping in, they're like crawling in, those sorts of things. It's like, again, this isn't the Millennium Falcon, this isn't Han Solo and Chewbacca and Luke Skywalker. Like these 3 TIE fighters are a major threat. They're flying a train basically in the air. Like this thing doesn't have cannons on it.
It's like a transport freighter. It's not like a big thing.
And that's like when even you could hear Andor say it. It's like when Nemec was telling him to climb. It's like, I don't have the speed for that.
He's like, well, you have no choice. You gotta.
Exactly.
Yeah. The TIE fighters just kind of took themselves out.
You gotta go. You gotta do it right now. And it did sound a little like K2 in Rogue One, right? Climb. You have to climb.
Somebody on Twitter said that like the last thing that K2 and Nemec told him were to climb. There was obviously a little bit after, but like the big things are like just climb, climb.
Yeah, go. Yeah, climb. It's like, if you go now, you can still get the plans. Like, yeah, absolutely. And so the moment he said climb, I went, "Oh, he's toast, bro!
Mhm.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Nemec is done." And then they decide again another incredible just character moment of Skeen, who clearly like really cared for the kid. It was like, we gotta go get him some help. We
Yeah.
gotta go. And Vel's
Yeah.
like, they could be honest any second though. You know, like we could just go get it done right now. He could die, but we could just go get this done. And so
because
I
they
love
said that like we have a doctor that was like built into the plan or something like that with like the money they had. So they're like,
Mhm.
well, if we have it, we might. It's like health insurance. If we have it, we might as
Yeah.
well use it.
Yeah. And so I love that whole scene with the doctor. Shout out! It's a practical effect. It's a big puppet. There's two
Yeah,
dudes
dude.
controlling the
Mhm.
arms and another one in the head.
And is that
which
dude
is really
that
sick.
dude the same race as Maz Kanata? Because they looked very similar.
I think so. It's the same.
I was
It's the
saying
same color. Maz has 2 arms though.
Yeah, Maz is
Yep.
also like 2
Maz
feet
have
tall.
4. So maybe similar. I wonder what race he was. I didn't bother to
Kind
think.
of looked
think
a
to
little
look that
bit
up.
like Greasy Money, a little bit.
He did look a little
Little
bit like
little
our
bit,
boy
little bit,
Greasy
little bit.
Money. Yeah. But that scene just hurt, and then like the whole thing of Vel like giving him the manifesto, like him, like his last request kind of being like, give this to Cassian. I want
Yeah.
him to have this, and
Well-
and that's obviously going to be a big character point because he's given this rebel manifesto right at this point where he's just like, I got mine, I'm going.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, even right before that, where Cassian's having his conversation with Skeen, and Skeen's like, "Hey, how much money you think's probably in there?" I'd say there's probably 80 million. If we leave now, that's 40 million a piece. Like we can make out the biggest winners here. And he's like, "No, I don't want to do that." And he's like, "No, come on, man. We just get a ship and bam, just he's
So
done.
good.
Like got
Iced
him."
him.
And then
Because I also like the question of him being like, okay, so we betray the others and we leave.
Mhm.
What happens when it's just me and you?
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
immediate distrust of like he's like, I'm not getting out of this alive if I go with you. Like no
Yeah,
way.
He's like, "There's enough money where I can just forget who you are."
Yeah.
And then
And then
he
just ices him.
fucking murks him, and then goes into the barn, and then like the doctor's like, "I'm sorry, I did everything that I could," and it's just like, "Oh no, Nemec, no!" And then she's like, "Here, have this book. He wanted you to have it. It's his manifesto." He's like, "No, I don't want that shit." And she's like, "He insisted. Take this,
Take it.
read this," and he'll be like, "Damn, that's fucked up. Damn, all right, I'm in. All right, let's go." Which I hope they make that a book, and I hope they publish that because I would love to read that.
Ooh, I
Ooh,
would
yeah.
genuinely love to
Yeah.
read that, especially because I mean this is like what the second time ever that we've seen paper in Star Wars. Like,
Yeah.
like that and the ancient Jedi texts.
Yep.
But yeah, I love the idea that this is clearly like going to be the fulcrum that sort of like pivots Cassian into being like, you know what, I'm here. Like, let's do this. Like
Yeah.
I'm ready to give it. Like it's going to be that same sort of thing that Luthen was talking to him in episode 4, right? To where he's like, yeah, you're off doing like these little petty thief things and doing your own thing and barely scraping by, and you know, like all your friends kind of hate you because you're this deadbeat that's just like angry at the world and trying to get back at it. He's like, or you can come actually do something real about it with me. And so yeah, I think those things with Nemec's sacrifice and that sort of just gentle push from Nemec, I think, or from Luthen, I think is going to be the thing that he's like, you know what, I'm here for the cause, baby.
Yeah.
I'm ready to fight these bastards for real. You know who's real good at fighting them bastards? Saw Gerrera, baby. That's who's real fucking good at fighting Imperial bastards. I think, because we've seen him in the trailers, I think Saw Gerrera is on the way.
Yeah.
I think Saw Gerrera is on the way. Now, of course, there are still some questions here. We have seen a shot of a Star Destroyer over the top of Aldhani in one of the trailers as well, which is very interesting. Which tells me that, oh, maybe they're not doing like 3 arc episodes throughout the whole thing. I think we're going to see Aldhani once more, at least once more, and then also Sentra's still there.
Yeah, we'll probably see more people show up on Aldani next episode and be like, what happened? Where's all the money? It's like walking into a vault and finding one gold bar left, and they're like, we've been robbed.
So, where did it all go?
There's been a robbery.
For sure. Like similar to like them, like the Imperials, like cause they're like scrubbing the crowd, the blown up speeder on Ferrex in episode 4, and that one dude being like, "Can I be a prefect? Cause I'm an Imperial and I suck." That sort of
just the
thing.
title. I know it doesn't come with more money.
Yeah. No, it's again great world building on top of that, but also this is an important one. All right, you ready for this? We saw the Imperial Senate again. Let's go.
Yeah, and it was mostly empty,
which is interesting, right?
Yeah,
that's so cool. What a neat detail.
While Mothma's standing there giving her speech, nobody cares because everyone's reading about this big hit to the Empire that happened. And she's like, she stops and reads it, and she's like, "Huh," and she can't really react because it'll be a tell.
Yeah,
and then it cuts to freaking Luthen at his shop, and somebody's like, "Hey, you got anything from Aldani?" And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, this big thing just happened. There's a robbery there." And he's like, "Yeah, let me check the bag." He's like, "Oh, I was kidding." And then Luthen's in the back doing what
in the back doing lap Luthen, baby.
Yeah, doing what any like food service worker does when like they go into the back and their manager's getting chewed out by a customer. They go in the back and they're like, "Yeah, dude."
Absolutely, man.
I love that shot.
He went back there and he's like, "I love it when a plan comes together, baby."
Yeah, and that's the moment of victory and exhale, and you're like, okay, they did it. Good, great. But like he doesn't know who survived.
Yeah, he doesn't know the cost.
He's like, they better hurry up with my money.
Yeah, he doesn't know the cost yet, and so I'm really, really excited just to kind of see like where it goes from here. I'm super, super stoked to see how the Empire kind of retaliates at this point, right? Because we got the scene there at the end where all of like the ISB workers are together, and Diet Tarkin was sitting there and he was like, "Hey, tell your friends and family you ain't seeing them." Like that.
We're here till
midnight.
midnight.
Here now.
Yeah, it's their Black Friday.
It just happened. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. It's their Black Friday. Like you wanted to go home for Thanksgiving.
No one is allowed to request days off. We're figuring out what's going on.
You work at Walmart, sir. You ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
And which is so great because like I was so curious about like what the plotline with Dedra was going to turn into, to where she's clearly I love that line from the previous episode where like it's too random to be random. Like there's so much happening here. I can tell, I can sense it, and I'm waiting for her moment next week. She's like, "Ha, I was right." Like shit's going down.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite things about this episode too. It focused on the heist the entire time. It didn't show anything with Karn or Deidre or Mon Mothma or Luthen or anybody else. It was the heist. 99% of the episode.
Yeah, it's this. Awesome. It's this thing. Mm-hmm. This is what's happening, and the repercussions of that are what this episode is.
Yeah, which is a good way for building tension, because instead of just being like, "Oh, okay, we get like a scene in the Senate." Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, now we're seeing what Space Ben Shapiro's doing. Oh, no, it was literally just climbing the entire time. It was fantastic. Is Chris dead? Did I kill him?
Fucking Space Ben Shapiro.
I'm never gonna stop calling him that.
Fucking Space Shapiro. It's perfect. It's perfect because he's tall, lanky, white, and can't do anything right.
Ben Spaceship Hero.
Ben Space Shapiro. Holy shit, that's incredible. I love that. Yeah, I think this was just a banger episode front to back, and I mean it was a lot of action. There's not like too much like character wise to really kind of sit here and dissolve, but I mean the spectacle of it is phenomenal. I would feel remiss if we wouldn't at least one more time commend them on just how good looking the show is in every frame, every second of it. is
mean,
outstanding, and the soundtrack on top of that is incredible too.
Yeah. Like they've been hyping up the eye literally since Cassian got to Aldani. And it paid
Oh
off.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I can't stop thinking about that shot to where the freighter's going. You see like one of the meteors straight up overhead, and then the TIE fighter's like swinging in behind. I'm just like, what a fucking shot, dude.
Like I
So
said,
cool.
the shot of like the first time you see the eye of like everything coming up over the dam.
Oh yeah, dude. Absolutely
and
phenomenal.
the way they even teased it in the episode, where like the start you see like one or two,
Yeah.
Like, when
and then
they're
like
underwater,
it would kick in more and
and you
more.
see the
Oh
one
yeah.
going?
Oh
That
yeah,
was
that's
cool.
right. That was
So
really
sick.
cool. Oh man, yeah. The whole thing was just
And just the
it's
sound
just,
design too. It's behind all that.
it's firing on all cylinders. Like every aspect of the show, I just sit here and I think I'm like, yeah, it's really fucking incredible. And I see a lot of people online that are like, just so much better than Boba Fett or whatever. I'm like, look, they're all meant to be different things. Like
Man.
I think you're super allowed to like one more than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's super okay. In fact, I think this episode kind of cemented where I was like, I went into the show hype. If you watch our podcast here or listen to it on a regular basis, you know how excited I was. How excited I've been about Andor, like since they basically announced it. I feel pretty confident saying like, yeah, this is easily like already just one of my favorite Star Wars things ever made.
Yep.
Just because it's like it just hits everything that I would kind of want out of something like this. This cool like space spy heisty thing.
It's
like
a political thriller,
political,
man.
yeah. And it delivers on that though, to where it's not like a political thriller, but it's still Star Wars. You know what I mean? Star Wars has tried to do like genre stuff before, and it's like sort of, Solo's almost a heist movie. I love Solo, don't get me wrong, but it's a Star Wars movie still. This is a political thriller with a Star Wars skin on top of it, and it's beautiful. I love that. It feels different. It's written differently. It's shot differently. They do such an incredible job with all of it that I can't sing the show's praises enough, man.
Which is why it just sucks in my opinion that it's the general public just isn't, or that they're not behind the show. Like, I understand why, but at the same time, it's like people have been asking for this kind of Star Wars forever.
Yeah, and you know,
it's like we're all content creators. Have just been
it's
saying,
like it's right here.
It's here. It's here. Watch
it.
Yeah, well,
and
it's because people like were like me in the sense where they watched like the first couple of episodes, and it's like, okay, like it's not bad, but it's like really slow, and then those people dropped off. Whereas me, I kept watching it, and I'm like I cut to this week, and I'm like, that was one of the coolest Star Wars things I've ever seen.
Which is so interesting to me, because I think with the advent of HBO series and even like some like AMC shows like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, like there's a demand for this sort of thing from the general public. Like this I think like sits alongside all of these like huge like dramatic heavy hitters like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones and all those sorts of things. I think if Andor ends well, like it could sit alongside all of these other sort of like titans of the entertainment industry, right?
For sure.
The sort of like goalpost setting things like this is the new standard, But yeah, people just aren't interested. But on the flip side, knowing how the Star Wars general public can be, maybe I'm not that upset that there's not regularly discourse on my Twitter feed every single week. It's been really nice. Every time I see somebody tweeting about Andor, it's always how great it is and how much they're enjoying it, and it's so fun. And it's not another there's a Black Inquisitor. We better scream about how woke Star Wars is for 7 more weeks. Fuck me, dude. Yeah. No, I've seen none of that for Andor, and it's been so refreshing. It's been so refreshing.
Yeah. Well, and I think it also kind of has to do with, people don't have a great attention span anymore. Like people are like, I need to see an explosion every 5 minutes. That's me. I'm calling out myself. but like, like, but it's good that the people in the fandom menace that suck aren't behind the show, because that means we get something cool for us. That's awesome.
True. Yeah.
It definitely it feels like a love letter to Star Wars, just in so many different ways. It's like, hey, you wanted this cool, like more mature, more grounded, like grown up Star Wars thing. Like here's that, and again, that doesn't take away from everything else. Like I'm fucking stoked for the Mandalorian. I loved Obi-Wan Kenobi. I even liked Book of Boba Fett. Like like all these things, but I mean, it's like this is still it's just something so wildly different that it's incredible to get that and to just kind of have this sort of fan base around it that's all like here to celebrate it and kind of just enjoy it, at least for now. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, whatever. So yeah, I wish that there were more people talking about it, but also after Obi-Wan Kenobi, maybe I kind of don't.
Yeah, and I think people are probably gonna go back and watch the whole thing when it's all out, because I've been telling some friends, they're like, hey, like a couple people have asked me, hey, how's Andor, and I'm like, it's good, but what I would recommend to you at this point, because it's halfway over, wait till it's done, binge the whole thing. It's gonna be so much better as a binge watch, I think.
See, I don't know, because I'm kind of liking the slow burn every week.
Yeah, that's the thing that's killing me.
Aaron can't take it. He's like, I just
like this week made it worth it for sure. And if next week it goes back to that, I'll be like, it's fine. They're gonna do another freaking hot banger. But it's just kind of like, okay, I just got to be patient. Just got to be patient.
Yeah, I love the nitty gritty of it all, and so it's to the point where I still think that like probably like last week's episode might be my favorite one so far, despite like the crazy like spectacle of this and what it is, just because the character writing is so good in this show, and getting that sort of character writing is kind of unheard of for most Star Wars properties. So I've just been kind of it's been a great show to just sit in and live in for a brief while, which is why I like this. I kind of like the weight's killing me. Don't get me wrong. I need more. Please give me more. Yeah. I want it in me right now. But like everything feels so genuine and real and lived in a way that it's like, they walk around on Ferrix this first 3 episodes, and I was like, I want to fucking live on Ferrix, dude. I want to be there, and they're doing all this stuff on Aldhani. I'm like, Aldhani's really cool. Like all of these things, like it's fun to just kind of exist within Star Wars for another 6 weeks, honestly. Like for the next like month and a half, which is so cool. We're gonna have so much. Star Wars fans are eating good, man.
Yeah, dude.
Before we end, I just want to say quick shout out to Susanna White, the director of these past 3 episodes. She's been killing it.
Big shout out to her. Did you guys catch any Easter eggs this episode? Because I caught like 1.5 maybe.
There weren't really many.
Yeah, there wasn't much. I mean, they used the call sign Echo 1, and the only thing I can think of is like, Echo Base from Empire, but then I think Echo 1 was also one of the call signs of one of the Naboo starfighter pilots in Phantom Menace. And then another one that I saw was right before everybody bust in on like the people, like, and they're like serving drinks and stuff to each other. Those glasses that they had the drinks in are also on the Galactic Star Cruiser, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, they are.
Other than that,
you can buy them at Disney World, which is really, really rad. I love when they do stuff like that. Speaking of the cups, I also want it's so sick. I also want like the leather wrapped like tin cups that they were drinking like calf from at the beginning.
Yeah,
of
dude.
The show. I want one of them. That thing was badass. So again, and yeah, it felt genuine and real, and that's what I'm saying. I just want to live in Star Wars forever. Please put me in a Star Wars.
I would love to be.
I want to be an extra. I just want to be an extra. I want to hold a cup. I want to jump off the curb like that one guy in the background of episode 3. And if you haven't seen that little bit that I'm talking about, go look it up. It's really, really funny. There's an extra who, while Luthen is walking down the street when he first arrives on Ferrix, there's an extra who like opens his door, gets to like the curve, just looks, and then like pops off of the curve.
Oh, I think I saw a Twitter clip on that.
I haven't seen that. I need to look for that. That's great.
It's really good. And I just want to do that. You know what I mean? I really want to do that.
I wanna be the dude from that Mandalorian episode who you could see with like the t-shirt and jeans on that they
jeans guy.
digitally removed the next week. Yeah, I want to be that guy.
The jeans guy who already has a Wikipedia page,
Yeah.
like immediately was
And
was
like
on
I think
Wikipedia.
like 2 weeks later at a convention, somebody cosplayed as that. Like they made like
It
the
was
door
even-
corner.
Yeah, they were at like fucking it was Celebration, I think.
Yeah, I think you're
Like
right.
somebody showed up as jeans guy. At
That's so
I think in our
funny.
episode of that, or our podcast on that episode, I had like it's like just come home from work before we were recording, and I still had my jeans on, and it's like I'm gonna do this. I stood like halfway.
He went and like stood in the corner of his frame. I'll have to go back and see if I can
As their
find that
intro-
episode. It was so
intro.
good.
Oh, that's so funny.
It was incredible. Now, of course, if you don't already, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. How are you liking Andor? I really, really want to know what you thought about this show. How cool are TIE fighters? You know?
They're really cool.
How cool are they? Answer is very cool, but I want to hear how cool you think they are and all the places. And, of course, we will be back again next week for This is the Waypoint. If you are into Game of Thrones or She-Hulk, we do shows on that, too. That's why you need the bell, man. It'll tell you when we have more stuff coming out. How rad is that? Technology is great. The future is here. Sorry, I gotta go through the whole spiel. You know, I gotta make sure that people sit and hear us, because when you're born in the hole, the only thing you know how to do is crawl over the next person to survive. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you at the next waypoint.